Welcome, COP members, to Module 5. This module is designed to help to prepare you to present about your action research project at the Community of Practice Conference in June. Before we begin, please take a moment to pat yourself on the back. Congratulations for making it to Module 5 and for all of the hard work you have put into your action research project over the past 8 months. The PCSL team is very proud of you. Now, after completing the steps of the action research project, plan, act, observe, and reflect, it's time for the final step in the process, to present. This is an exciting opportunity for you not only to practice your conference presentation skills, but also to share your experiences and ideas with your colleagues. There are 4 lectures in Module 5 that will support the development of your presentation. First, planning your research presentation. We'll discuss the purpose of a research presentation and guide you in structuring the presentation of your information. You will also complete an outline in order to organize your ideas. Lecture 2 will discuss how to present your research effectively and provide tips on using visuals. Lecture 3 will review how to answer questions as a conference presenter. And finally, Lecture 4 will review how to write a conference abstract. You will submit this abstract as the final assignment for the action research modules. All right, let's begin. Lecture 1, Planning Your Research Presentation. When thinking about the purpose of a research project presentation, it's important to think about what a research presentation is not. It is not to tell the audience about every detail of your research. Instead, it is a summary that highlights the important aspects of your work. You will lose the interest of your audience if you overwhelm them with every little detail. The purpose is also not only to tell the audience about positive results. We all would like our research projects to produce positive results, but sometimes things do not always go as planned. You should be honest about your findings, even if they are not what you hoped for. So this leads to what a good research presentation does do. It gives the audience a sense or overview of your work. It is an opportunity to share ideas and best practices. And finally, it is an opportunity to get feedback from your work. Now, let's begin with the structure of your research presentation. Most of this will be a review of the skills you learned at the PCSL seminars. The presentation will give you an opportunity to put these skills to use. As you recall from the seminar, a well-designed presentation should have a clear introduction, body, and conclusion. Going through this lecture, we'll begin with the introduction. Introduction should include an attention getter. Remember, this element grabs the audience's attention and makes them want to watch your presentation. You can use an interesting photo or picture to immediately attract attention. Then you can share an interesting story, a personal story, introduce a rhetorical question, state a shocking statistic, share a quotation, or conduct an audience survey. After the attention getter and talking about the attention getter and why it applies to your research interests, tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your background. In order to establish credibility, state your name and your title, share your institution and/or ministry, and finally, briefly describe your experience and background. These elements help to establish your credibility as an ELT professional. Next, you will communicate your central idea. Explain why you are presenting today and your purpose. You may combine this with the final component of the introduction, which is to outline your main points. Remember, the outline helps to organize your presentation and prepare the audience for the upcoming information. That's the introduction. Once you've completed the introduction, it's time to share your research project information in the body of your presentation. Your body should begin with a short rationale for why you chose the topic that you did. This section is where you should explain why the research is important to you. What led you to address the issues that you did? You should include a brief literature review for your audience, where you discuss only the most relevant articles or texts that you used in your research. Share a few important points that you discovered in your literature review. Remember to cite the sources, and remember this should be brief. This should be a clear transition into the next part, which is how you created your research question. You should now provide the audience with a statement of your research question. State your research question, and it should be on a standalone slide. This section should be succinct and will most likely only be 1 to 2 sentences. And the goal is to highlight your research question so your audience can understand the focus of your work. Moving along, the next section is probably one of the most important. It's the summary of your methodology, or how you conducted your research. In this section, you will share with your audience how you went about collecting and analyzing your data. You should discuss your participants and their background, your methods, whether it's a video or survey, journaling, interviews, pre or post tests, or any other methods that you used. This section refers to the work you did for Module 3 of the Action Research Project. The next portion should briefly summarize your methods for data analysis. This should be connected to your previous data collection slide. This information refers to the work you did for Module 4 of the Action Research Project. After sharing how you gathered and analyzed your data, it's time for you to share what you learned from this experience. The final portion of your body should include a summary of your findings. In this section, you want to clearly organize and display your data and findings. This is where graphs, charts, and images are most helpful. What did your data analysis reveal? You will learn more about effective ways to display data in Lecture 2. The final portion of your research presentation should include your conclusion. To begin, share your reflections on your data analysis. What did you learn? What surprised you? Were there any challenges that you did not foresee? Did your results support the literature? You can share your thoughts in this section. Additionally, because action research is cyclical, did you make any changes or go through the process again? If so, did you learn anything new? Next, you should share how this experience and/or your findings will influence your classroom instruction. What might you change or do differently in the future? In this section, you're making some predictions about future instructional practices. We are nearing the end of your presentation, so you will next share your sources. If you like, you can highlight any key sources. Finally, you're going to thank your audience and invite any questions. This gives your audience an opportunity to clarify any points from your presentation. You will review tips for this portion of the presentation in Lecture number 3. So now it's your turn to do some planning. For assignment number 1, you will be asked to fill out an outline of your presentation and share it with your mentor for some feedback. A few notes about the assignment. The outline document is a place where you can make notes about your presentation. You don't need to write down every word or element of your presentation, but instead think about concepts or main points you would like to make in each section. Download the worksheet, fill it out, and then you can upload your completed document on the Google Drive using the link below the video. This concludes Lecture number 1. Good luck planning your research presentation.